draft. And since this is the ninth island, football fans pretty interested in Tua Tagovailoa. The talented quarterback from Hawaii is projected to be one of the top players in the upcoming draft. He's got connections to Las Vegas. We caught up with somebody who's followed him since his freshman year in high school.
The very first game that Tua ever played in Hawaii at the varsity level was against Mililani, and that was Mackenzie Milton at quarterback. They went on to win the state title that year, Mackenzie Milton's team. And so the first game of the year is at Mililani, and Tua wasn't the starting quarterback. He was the returning all-league QB for St. Louis that got the start. And I want to say Mackenzie had this phenomenal first half, and Mililani took like a 42-7 lead at halftime. It's something like that, really lopsided. They come out at halftime and they throw Tua in. And Mililani goes on to win this game, but the final score ends up being 62-50 something. Tua, in 2 quarters of play in his high school debut, throws 5 touchdown passes and 300-something yards in 2 quarters of play. Wow. That's the first chance we ever saw Tua play high school football. Incredible, and it's just and it goes back to like what I was saying, where these unrealistic expectations, right? I mean, whether it's committing to Alabama, there's no way you're going to be the starting quarterback. It's being invited to the Elite 11. And the talk, even down here, is saying, like, yeah, he's the best quarterback in Hawaii, but there's no way he could be the best quarterback in the nation. And then he goes and moonwalks his way through the Elite 11 and wins that title. And then it's, you know, being thrown into the national title game in the 3rd quarter. There's no way that he can lead this. It's just incredible. And so I think the more people doubt Tua Tagovailoa, I think it must fuel his fire, because I swear we've seen him just prove people wrong time and time again, and so I think the National Football League will be no different.
I will be making my commitment to the University of Alabama.
Roll Tide, it is the defending national champions. Congratulations, Tua. Congratulations, Alabama. What was it about Alabama that led you to this decision?
Well, you know, first off, you know, like always, you know, I just like to thank God again. I also like to thank Coach Nick Saban for giving me the opportunity to have a scholarship to the University of Alabama. The hospitality is kind of like Hawaii, you know. I feel like I'm home over there. Everybody on Sunday goes to church.
A lot of his relatives in Las Vegas do as well. After all, this is the ninth island. The ninth island is the real deal, and so for Tua especially, I talked to him about Vegas myself a couple of months ago when I was able to sit down with him. And he had nothing but good things to say about Vegas. He had nothing but good things to say about how excited he is that the NFL is now in the ninth island. And I think he speaks for a lot of Hawaii people, because, you know, there's no team out here.
That's where we had a lot of our family reunions growing up. So
a lot of people just pick their teams in these random ways, and, you know, whatever cap they're given to as a little kid. I think you're going to see a big shift with a lot of Hawaii fans in silver and black, because they're going to plan their winter vacations around it, and going to Raiders games, and the schedule lines up. Maybe UH is playing UNLV on the same weekend, kind of a thing. Golden Knights are out there, so it's exciting times for sure.
So many positives with Tua, but the question mark remains, and it surrounds his career. What about his health? Those questions are real.
And really, I mean, without a doubt, that is the question in mind with Tua. He has had injuries. I mean, there's no denying that. You know, I think the interesting thing is that we've never seen him have an injury and not be able to bounce back and perform at the highest level, right? I mean, the wrist in his freshman year, was able to come back and win that starting job and win a national title. In his sophomore year, it was the ankle, and he was able to come back and perform well on that before he injured it again, right? And then this past season with the hip, he has been injured. And so that is going to be the thing that the NFL teams need to look at. I think the question here is that, are you going to be the team that says, you know what, I'm not going to take a risk on this because he's been injured in the past, and potentially pass up someone that has the ceiling like Tua Tagovailoa? And I think that's what these NFL front offices, these general managers are paid the big bucks for, is not making that mistake. So I think that's going to be very interesting to see who decides to pass him up and who decides to say, you know what, this is too big of a risk. We cannot be the team that passed up on Tua Tagovailoa.
Mentally, it's been a grind. The rehab process has been a grind. You know, but it's nothing. It's not something that's new to me. I've I've dealt with my hand injury, my left ankle and my right ankle. You know, so I sort of know what to expect going through this process, but it's definitely been a grind.
Seems like there's always a Vegas connection, not only with family members here is what's considered, we mentioned the Ninth Island, but also on the field. It was about 6 years ago when Liberty High School traveled to Hawaii to meet St. Louis High, the Bishop Gorman of the Islands, and the Liberty Patriots played against Tua and got a first-hand look at the talented junior at the time.
I could tell right away just how special he was, you know, going into the game. I have a lot of coaches on my staff that are from Hawaii. Some of them have connections with St. Louis High School, a couple of coaches there. So they helped set the game up. And, you know, we're always trying to play really tough teams that are, you know, nationally ranked or, you know, have great players. And, you know, so my coach, hey, they got this quarterback who's the real deal. He's probably, you know, the next Marcus Mariota, because, you know, Marcus at the time was tearing it up in Oregon, or just got out of Oregon. So I was excited to play him and see him in person, and he was just unbelievable. First touchdown they scored against us, you know, a 50-yard touchdown run. He threw, I think, 3 or 4 touchdowns, and we were just chasing him the whole game. He made this one play that kind of sticks in my mind where it was like 3rd and long around midfield. We blitzed from the outside. He spun away and ran backward, scrambling all over the place, and then just saw a receiver deep downfield, planted his back foot, threw it on a rope like 60 yards. And I was just like, man, kid's unbelievable. Like, this is a special kid. And I got to meet him a little bit after the game and, you know, just tell him, you know, great job. And like I said, my defensive coordinator, Kaipo Batoon, played there and has connections there. So, you know, he wasn't lying when he said how good he was. It's just that he was calm under pressure, athletic. I remember thinking for a high school kid, you know, he was like put together, like solid big kid. A lot of times, you know, high school kids are still skinny, or, you know, they don't look like they're a man yet. And he looked like he was a grown man playing against boys. That's kind of what stuck out to me.
All right. Thank you very much, Rich. Appreciate it. Hey, still ahead here.